everyone, our project today is tomatoes. I got very excited this spring and was so ready to get stuff in the ground. Our backyard has been under a renovation, and I'm going to try and show you while showing myself and not make everyone dizzy. But as you can see, I've got kind of a raised garden bed section. This is going to be more of my gardening area. In another video, we planted up these tartar troughs. I wanted to show you kind of a sweeping view of the entire backyard. We just put in a pool. This yard before was just mud and grass. We just kind of got the project buttoned up enough to where I can actually start planting things, hence my excitement. I ordered a lot of tomatoes online, and unfortunately I didn't do the best job about stowing them while I was waiting to plant them. It got too cold for them out at night, and it rained way too much. I'm going to show you one of the tomatoes. I've already trashed the others that I bought online. One has made it because I got it in the ground really quickly. The others I was waiting to put in these raised garden beds. I'll show you both right now. This is a determinate type tomato from Proven Winners, actually Proven Selections. I got it online. I got it through provenwinnersdirect.com. Like I said, this one is a determinate type tomato, which makes it perfect for growing in smaller containers. Usually they'll grow about 4 foot tall, 2 foot wide. You don't trim these, you kind of just let them grow. Once it's set all the fruit, that's why they call it a determinate tomato, because it's a determined amount of fruit. The plant is gonna die back. As you can see, this one is loaded up. Cannot wait. I have never grown this one before. I've seen some people growing it online, and it actually looks like there's more tomatoes than there are actual leaves. I'm very excited about this one. Now, the one I'm not so excited about, as you can see, this is another Proven Winners brand. It is a garden treasure tomato, which is like a slicer tomato. You would use these on like sandwiches or hamburgers. But as you can see, it is not doing the best, and that is totally my fault. I just got too excited about the spring, which I'm sure a lot of you guys relate to, and I did not do the best job taking care of it. So now for better news. I'm going to show you the tomatoes that we're actually going to grow this season. I am going to keep that one in the ground. I'm going to try and take care of it, and hopefully it's going to thrive. We'll see. That is an indeterminate type tomato that is going to continue setting fruit all summer long. The one I showed you before that is a determinate type that's going to stay smaller, and it is in a separate container because it's going to stay smaller. The determinate type tomato is going to die back once it's at that determined amount of fruit. The rest of these tomatoes I'm about to show you are all indeterminate types of tomatoes that are going to grow all summer long. They are going to require a trim back. They're going to be massive, and you want to take good care of them, because if you don't let air flow through those tomatoes, they get too big. The fruit's not going to be the best. The first one that I'm going to grow is a sun sugar. This is a Bonnie variety. You can get Bonnie plants at Lowe's, Home Depot, Menards, most every store, Tractor Supply here where I'm located. This is a sun sugar yellow cherry tomato. I have grown these before. They're really sweet. They do really well in the oven. I like to bake them and make quick dinners with them. The other tomato that I'm going to grow is a San Marzano. I use this in pasta sauces, or when a dish calls for crushed or diced tomatoes. These are the tomatoes that I grow. And this fall, I'm gonna take you guys on a journey through canning. So we're gonna can some diced tomatoes and some crushed tomatoes, as well as a pasta sauce. The last variety I'm gonna show you is a Bonnie Original. So this is Bonnie's, what they claim to be their favorite tomato. I've never grown them before, but I wanted to grow at least one slicer tomato. So here we go. We're gonna get all these tomatoes in the ground, and I'll take you guys along the way. I wanted to give you all a close-up of how I'm planting these tomatoes. As you can see, I've taken a Biotone starter fertilizer. This is a root stimulator fertilizer. I am a horrible gardener and don't ever measure out. I've kind of got a hole already pre-dug. This pipe that you see here is going to be our drip supply line. This is a 1/2 inch drip supply line that I've run under the ground. Well, it's not really under the ground, but it's under our pea gravel that's going to run to a main supply line. I'll show you all that process, I'm sure, here soon. But that's what this is. So this is our San Marzano variety. I'm going to squeeze the pot to kind of loosen the root ball off of the cup. I'm going to pull the tomato out. Now, tomatoes, there are a myriad of ways that you can grow these and plant them in the ground. The way that I do it is I usually just take off these bottom leaves. All along the tomato, you'll see this fuzzy stuff here. All of that can actually become root growth. So some people even will dig a trench, bend their tomato up like this. I don't know if you can see that, but they'll grow kind of the tomato on the side. And they say that makes a stronger tomato. I've never done that, but I know that that process works for a lot of people. What I'm actually gonna do is just kind of plant this first inch into the soil. So I'm gonna dig it pretty deep, which is what you don't do with a lot of plants. And then I'm gonna backfill this hole in. I'm gonna also remove any leaves that are gonna be touching the ground. What I've just found is when leaves touch the ground like that, you're giving an easy way, one, for bugs to get on your plant, but also those leaves usually get burnt by the fertilizer and they yellow and they get too much water and it's never a good thing. So we wanna make sure that no leaves are touching the ground, and I've got that inch kind of buried there. Along that inch we've just planted, they're gonna make roots. Then those roots are gonna make our tomato here way sturdier. So next I want to take you all on a tour kind of what we got accomplished. It is pretty humid out today, so sorry for the sweat, but we got all those tomatoes in the ground. We fertilized all of them. I staked those that are indeterminate tomatoes, which is all that we bought today. I did show you that determinate tomato at the beginning of the video, and like I said, that determinate tomato doesn't really need to be staked. You can. I'll show you as the season goes along and we can make that determination later on, but the indeterminate tomatoes definitely need to be staked. They get massive, like I said. They definitely need support. The fruit gets really heavy and tomato plants are pretty brittle. I'm gonna show you all kind of what we did, and I'll give you some more tips along the way. Okay, so we got everything in the ground. I wanted to give you guys a little bit of a garden tour, well, a raised bed tour. I know I've shown a little bit of it at the start of the video, but I wanted to give you an update now that we're finished with the project. So this was our Bonnie Original, and I've never grown this type before, but it says it's their favorite tomato. I'll let you know. It is a slicer. I would use it on like sandwiches or hamburgers. I do have it planted over here with a snacker size cucumber. I think that the fruit stays pretty small on these. I've never grown them before. This one is from provenwinnersdirect.com. Like I said, I don't have a lot of luck finding Proven Winners vegetables, fruit, or berries around my area. But having them available online is really nice. And I've never had really any issues getting stuff online. I know some people find that shipping plants is difficult and it doesn't always come the best, but I've had pretty good luck. There was a little, as you can see, I've got a cucumber starting to form here. I went ahead, I got this wire trellis at Lowe's. I got 2 of them. Keep moving along. This is our next bed. So these are our San Marzano tomatoes, and I planted them next to each other. I went ahead and got the tomato cage around them. I did have this. This is a purple basil, and it is a Bonnie variety purple basil. I companion planted it with this because I know planting basil next to your tomatoes helps alleviate pests. I try not to spray anything on our vegetables throughout the season. If you grow in Kentucky like me, the battle is real against bugs getting on the tomatoes. So anything I can do to try and mitigate that issue before it starts is helpful. Plus it looks great and it tastes wonderful. I love purple basil. I've had it before. It always does really well for me. Moving on to this bed. I told myself no pumpkins, no pumpkins, no pumpkins, and today I bought a pumpkin plant. I think it is a small variety. Let me grab this tag. So it's another Bonnie plant. It says it's a wee bit little, so it's a small type pumpkin. I know I'm having focus issues, but all it says is it's a pumpkin. It's a wee bit little. it doesn't look like on the back that it says that it grows very large. It grows 24 to 36 inches wide. What I'm gonna try and do, it may become one of those pumpkins that tries to bush up, but it says it is vining. I'm gonna try and train it up this trellis and then have the fruit in the center. I've never tried this before. I'm gonna take you all along on this this journey with me, and I'll give you updates. Here's our sad tomato, the only one that made it. The only reason I'm not getting rid of it is because this little guy is trying its hardest to stay alive. Like I said, it's my own fault. I know what's wrong with it. It got way too much water. It sat in water for too long. It got too cold. It is trying its hardest in this ground right now. I threw away all the other ones. This variety, I think we went over it at the start of the video, is a garden treasure tomato. So it's another kind of slicer type tomato that I would use on sandwiches. We're all gonna cross our fingers and hope for the best with this tomato. Slowly pan the camera so I don't get you all dizzy. At the end of this bed, we haven't gone over this. This is what's called a mazel basil. It's another Proven Winners variety. Let me pull up this tag. It's Proven Winners variety. Again, I got this one online. I have never seen Proven Winners herbs, fruit, like I said, in any of our local stores. I live in Western Kentucky. I'm about 45 minutes south of Louisville. Here are my peppers. I think I have, this is a red bell pepper, a yellow bell pepper. This is a jalapeno, which is already trying to set fruit. Come in here. You can see it's already trying to set fruit. I have this one tied. These are like, I think I got these at Gardener's Supply. They're like rubberized, so I feel like they don't hurt the plant when you're, securing them to the support. They're easy to take off. They're easy to reuse. I love them. I have bought one packet and I use it all the time. And then I just keep my little cuttings that I made. These are not big enough yet to be staked. They're doing their best. They're growing on strong. Got a good crop of mushrooms coming up. Hey, it's some good soil. These two are poblano peppers. We love poblanos. I use them instead of using a green bell pepper. So anytime a recipe calls for green bell pepper, I usually use the poblano. I find that they freeze really well and they hold their flavor even when frozen. Like with the bell peppers I have over here, these are not big enough yet to be tied to these supports. I'm gonna let them grow on a little bit more, get a little bit stronger. This guy needs some water, unfortunately. We'll give him a little bit of water here in a minute. And then we only have one more. Oh, these are just decorative. Before, as you can see, in our backyard, we do have a pool, so we had to have a fence. So luckily, I did not have to deal with any wildlife. I might get some bunny rabbits that slip under the fence. I am gonna go through with some edging underneath here to try and solve that issue, but I do not have to worry about deer for the first time gardening in Kentucky. These are baskets that I had. I got these at Gardener's Supply as well. Right now, I'm just kind of using them just because they look nice. They do have two parts. This bottom part here will support that top part to make the bell a little bit larger. But our last tomato is this one. This is our sun gold cherry. I ran out of room in my raised garden beds. I knew that I would. So that's kind of where we are in the garden right now. There's the raised garden beds. I had put this one, as you can see, there's a little curve in our landscaping rock. So we've got big rock that moves into smaller rock, and there's a little curve right here. And I've kind of nestled this pot. It's gonna need to be leveled out and fixed, and I probably need to top off the soil a little bit. I'll do all of that at a later time, and I'll bring you all along with me. And I'll give you updates, but I think this pot is plenty big for this cherry tomato. It is a massive pot. It is a double-walled pot, and I got it at home, and I actually got these on sale. I don't think they carry this pot anymore because I got it on sale at the end of a season, I think 2 years ago. But I think it's gonna do nicely for our cherry tomato. I have it on a tomato staking system, but that's it. So all of our tomatoes are in the ground. That is another project complete. I will bring you all along as the tomatoes grow, and I'll let you know any updates, especially on this guy that's not doing too well. But hopefully they do really well. They're all been fertilized. I'm gonna go around and water everything in. Once we plant, we wanna water everything in, just kind of get the soil to settle and give it its first drink. We will be setting these beds up on drip, and that's gonna be a separate video because I wanna take you all along for that entire process so that if you have beds like this at home, you'll know what to do. As you can see, these black hoses, those are all prep for our watering system. So I'll bring you along for that video. We'll look forward to seeing you all in the next one. Thanks so much.